Good morning.
Good morning.
I think that worked. Yep. Welcome. I heard one good morning reply anyway. Welcome to each one of you. Appreciate your coming out to be a part of our National Campus Devotions this morning, as well as any of you that may be joining online live streaming or through an archived devotion. So grateful to have this privilege and opportunity within the society. I'm Bill Gran with Spiritual Ministries. I'm assuming we got a new employee to welcome here this morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Ellis, and I am the supervisor of the clinical and the financial applications area in CFS. And I am pleasantly happy to introduce Katie Inlay, who is a new clinical application specialist for us. So please help me make her feel welcomed.
Welcome, Katie. It's good to have you here with us and for us. Any other introductions? Steve also shared with me a joy that we can do a thanks be to God here for this morning, and that is his daughter Haley and new husband were united in marriage on Saturday, Nick Bays. And so rejoicing with them in their life together. So for that gift and that joy, let God's people say, thanks be to God. Any other announcements that need to be shared? Yeah. Ooh, so a beginning part of that. So Brad's daughter engaged over the weekend. All right. So these dads and these daughters, there's a little theme going on. For the gift of that hopeful new life together in that engagement, new part of that relationship, let God's people say, thanks be to God. I also want to thank Mary for bringing us in with the music this morning, and I know Sharon and Mary will be playing our hymn as we sing toward the end of our devotion time here also. Our Jesus Way trait of the week, which is really not necessarily a trait, not one of the 3 O's, but maybe one of the very significant parts. It's that part that's called gracious accountability, defined as forgiveness with the intent to do better next time. Was looking through our Live It Out calendar and was struck by Wednesday's reminder. It says, don't ignore it, live it out. What is a loving and gracious way for you to hold accountable someone who isn't living out the Jesus way? And the thought that came to me is whenever we've had manager retreats, leaders talking about, so what is something significant that a leader does? And I think in pretty much every group I've been a part of, one of the things that's suggested from the group is that a leader never asks you to do something that they themselves are not willing to do. I see some nods ahead for that. And for me, one of the significant ways to lovingly hold others graciously accountable is we ourselves being willing to be honest and say, okay, here's how I'm living it out, and here's how I am not living it out. And then say, how about you? How are you living it out? How are you not living it out? That there's a significance for me in terms of how we can lovingly and graciously be about of holding one another graciously accountable. So that little reminder as we go through our week this week. We've already shared a couple of thanks be to God's with a wedding and an engagement. Are there any other joys that anyone wishes to share this morning? As well as Katie's coming to be a part of the society. Grateful for that too. So let's say thanks be to God for that. For Katie's coming, let God's people say, thanks be to God. Any other joys to share? All right. On our prayer list this morning, we have our employees and those we serve in the community of Howard, South Dakota. Our administrator is Lisa Meyer from Albuquerque, New Mexico. National Campus co-workers that we'll be lifting up in prayer is Dave Kramer, database administrator, and Ricky Kramer, supervisor and asset debt. Our family member in the military is Chase, the son of Kevin POTUS. Our private prayer requests that are in the baskets. On Mondays, we always remember to lift up also Project Outreach and our connections with those in Colombia, Zimbabwe, and Bangladesh, as well as all of our locations that this week are going through either some real joys or some real significant challenges or changes within their community. And then received this note that Michelle Zeiderhoff, she's an application services administrator, her grandmother died yesterday, and so we want to keep Michelle and their family in our prayers. So, any other prayer requests? Before we go to the Lord in prayer, would invite us to focus on our daily tasks from Psalm 92, verse 4, and Luke 5, 24 and 25. Will invite us to then have a personal time of reflection on what those verses might mean to you, as well as then go into our time of prayer. And at least for me, as I was reading through those texts and did my own little reflection, was reminded to wherever I'm at in life, even if, as in the paralyzed man, if I find myself paralyzed either physically or mentally or emotionally, or through fear or doubt or uncertainty, that Christ comes and that we need to be open to Christ coming and look for ways that we can hear God speak in the midst of whatever it is we're facing in life. So that was my reflection. Here's the text. We'll invite you to pause for your own reflection and then be in a time of prayer. You, O Lord, have made me glad by your work. At the works of your hands I sing for joy. And Jesus said to the one who was paralyzed, I say to you, stand up and take your bed and go to your home. And immediately he stood up before them, took what he had been lying on, and went to his home, glorifying God. God, we do thank you for the ways that you continue to be at work in this world, in our lives. At times we see it very vividly and clearly, at times not so clearly. At times we need to be reminded of what we need to do to be a part of that work and healing, as well as just remembering to pause and give thanks to you. Fill our hearts and minds with a reminder of the wonderful ways you continue to love us and care for us and guide and lead us through times of joy or uncertainty. Thanks for this opportunity to gather here as a way for us to pause and give you thanks, whether it be for a welcoming of a new coworker, as Katie, or the gift of a beginning of a new relationship with engagement or marriage, for the gift we have of partnering with those that are on our regular prayer list, those in Howard, Lisa, Dave, Ricky, Chase, wherever he is serving, those that we're connected with through Project Outreach, and all those locations that we are supporting. Because we're here today, we can support them at their work, skilled rehab, HCBS, affordable housing. Whatever joys or challenges they're facing, may they too be mindful of your being with them, working for good within their lives. Pray that you might also be with Michelle and family in their midst of grief, as well as others who may continue to be feeling a real deep sense of grief or loss in their lives. For these things, for those things in the prayer basket, for whatever may be chasing around in our heads or hearts, we trust it all to you. And we affirm our faith and trust in you as we pray together the prayer you taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And let us sing of our faith as we sing together our hymn, All People That on Earth Do Dwell, number 883. Thanks again for coming, and have a blessed week.